Hey everybody, what's up? It's Nicole. Welcome back to my channel. So it is New Year's Eve and I just wanted to come on and do a quick video with you guys and talk to you guys before I go live this evening. I wanted to talk to you guys about okay, sorry. With my experience, with my own experience with being honest. And with coming clean and the freedom that I experienced when I finally just let go and stopped worrying about what other people thought, and I just let go and I got honest about everything. And I'm going to tell you guys about 3 separate occasions where I got honest and it freed my soul. And that's what I want to share with you guys today, because I feel like, first of all, going into 2019, I think we all need to really work on not taking any of that bad energy, any of those lies, any of that deceit, any of the stories that we've had to make up and keep going because we were in our active addiction or we were ashamed. I think we got to get rid of all that and go into the new year with a fresh start. So that's what I'm going to share with you guys today. I want to share with y'all 3 different situations where I finally got honest and it set me free. So the first time that I want to share with you about getting honest was when I first decided to get really serious about my recovery. So in 2015, I was in treatment, and I was in there for, it was the first 2 weeks I was in treatment. And when I got there, you guys, I was scared to death because my son was in DHS custody, and I was worried that I was going to lose him forever. But that didn't mean anything, because the disease of addiction is cunning, baffling, and powerful. And while I was in there, I had my husband bringing me Xanax bars and sneaking them into me. So for the first 2 weeks, I was just getting high on Xanax and lying through my teeth. Then one day we all went out to an outside meeting, and we were coming home in the bus, and there Neil was dropping off my Xanax. So I had gotten caught. Now, of course, it took me getting caught for me to really come clean and get honest with them about using Xanax, but that's not even the tip of the iceberg. I had that moment right then when the next morning they called me into the office at the treatment center, and they were like, you know, we called your DHS caseworker and we are all going to have a meeting with you, and you could lose your son. You might get your rights terminated. At that moment right there, I remember praying and asking God to please take this obsession to use pills, this obsession to eat Xanax, this obsession to shoot dope. Please take this away from me. I can just remember crying and crying and crying. The next 2 weeks I was in treatment, I didn't know what my fate was going to be. I didn't know if I was going to be able to stay. I didn't know if my son was going to be taken from me forever. They didn't tell me. They just told me that I better show them that I was going to be different. And that's when I really started like getting honest with myself and really looking and saying, you know what, Nicole, like, this isn't about you anymore. This is about you ruining your child's life who hasn't even had a chance yet, you know. And so that was the first time ever that I got honest, and I actually admitted that I was an addict and an alcoholic, and that I was powerless. I was powerless over drugs and alcohol. I was powerless over the way I acted. I was powerless over everything in my life. My whole life was unmanageable. I couldn't even be a mom, you know. Facing that was being in treatment and being smacked in the face with how unmanageable my life was. Because see, I could always make excuses and say, oh, well, I still have a job, or I still have this. And you guys, at this point, while I was in treatment, I had nothing. So there was nowhere left to turn. I had to get honest. And so when I finally did, I was able to learn and start to absorb the information that they were teaching me in there. And it was like, the only way I can explain it to you is it's like an aha moment where you're in rehab and you start listening to what they're saying and it starts making sense. And it was a miracle. So that was the first time that I just, like, honesty played a part and that I can remember. Okay. Now, a couple months after I got out of treatment, you know, I got put on medically assisted treatment, and I was working with a sponsor, and me and her had been working together for about 6 months, and nobody knew that I was on Suboxone. And I was so full of shame. I was so embarrassed. I felt less than. And I remember meeting with my sponsor, and we were sitting in her car and we were talking, and I told her about being prescribed Suboxone. And I remember when she didn't fire me. The only reason she was upset is because I hadn't been honest with her. But when I was able to get free and tell her that, I started sharing with everybody about how I was on Suboxone, because it set me free to just say it, to say, I'm on Suboxone, and I'm serious about my recovery. Because see, even when I got prescribed Suboxone, even though I was on it, I still had this negative thinking about it because I didn't understand it. And now that I've been on it for so long, and I've gotten to really work on my recovery and learn about AA and learn the big book and learn the 12 steps, it has showed me that, like, me being on Suboxone, it has nothing to do with my recovery and my willingness to change. It has nothing to do with it. Like, through getting honest, open-minded, and willing, my life has been changed forever, and I'm so grateful. But getting honest with my sponsor and telling her that, and then letting my peers know, was a huge freeing. It was a freeing experience, nonetheless. Like, it was amazing, you guys, and it helped me to go farther in my recovery. Okay, so okay, so I told my sponsor about being on Suboxone. So that was a really good time for me. Like, it catapulted me into another, like, part of my recovery. Well, then I started kind of like doing my recovery, and I was on Facebook. I was making videos. I was doing well. You know, I had a following. I was, you know, making good content on Facebook, and I had some really awesome recovery groups. But I started to let all the comments and the "atta girls" and "you're doing so good" start to affect my ego and start to pump me up. And I can remember my sponsor and me sitting down and talking about how that ego is a addict's worst enemy, because when our ego starts taking hold, then that's when we think that we got this all under control. And all the validation and all the praise from people on Facebook, it was so much all the time, you guys, was starting to become unhealthy for me. And I was also, like, going, like, toe to toe with people, debating all the time about being on medically assisted treatment. And so doing these things, it was counteractive to my recovery. It was causing me so much stress and anxiety because I was constantly battling somebody about my recovery and whether it was worthy, and my self-worth, and trying to prove to everyone. And so I finally realized how toxic the environment that I had around me on Facebook, because I was constantly feeling the need to defend myself. And when I finally got honest and got off Facebook, I cannot tell you guys the freedom that I've experienced from no longer feeling the need to prove myself or get validation from my peers. You know, I feel like here on YouTube we have such a more understanding, more compassionate, more open-minded community of people that are in recovery, and I don't feel like I have to prove myself to you guys. I don't feel like I have to win you over. You know, I feel like I can put my videos out there, and if you like them, you'll watch them, and if you don't, you won't, you know? And it wasn't like that for me over there. I always felt like I was kind of like fighting to, you know, it was almost like I was like, hey, see me, I'm doing good over here. I'm doing good, you know, because I felt so insecure, you know, because I was on medically assisted treatment, and I had had so many negative reactions from people on Facebook, you know. So those are 3 instances of when honesty really played a major role in my recovery and really pushed me to the next level in my recovery. And even today, you guys, like today, what I deal with today, the things I struggle with about being honest are, for me, I have to know when I can only do so much. And what I struggle with today is stretching myself too thin and not saying to somebody, no, I can't do that, or I'm sorry. And that's what I've really been working hard on, is letting people know, like, I've already have this going on. I can't commit to, you know, that. And that's what I struggle with now, is like making commitments and not being able to follow through with them. And I really don't want to bring that into 2019 with me. I also have worked so hard on building a relationship with you guys here on my channel and being honest and transparent with you guys about my recovery every single step of it. I am on Suboxone. I'm taking my medication as prescribed. I do not abuse drugs or alcohol, and I'm so proud of myself because I'm finally doing the right thing, and I'm finally being totally honest. I'm not on here trying to manipulate folks. I'm not on here trying to be something that I'm not. I'm finally okay with just being who I am. And I gotta tell you something. It feels fucking good. It feels good to just be myself. And you know what? If people don't like it, they don't have to be a part of my channel. You know? But I've never, ever been able to do that because I've always tried to win people over. I've always tried to get validation. And for once in my life, I feel good about the decisions I'm making. I feel good about who I am as a person. And I feel good about the stamp that I'm leaving behind. I feel good about the information and the content I'm putting out on the internet. The content that I'm putting out is going to help somebody. I don't know who, I don't know when, I don't know why, I don't know how. I just know that I try to put out what the truth and nothing but the truth. And I hope you guys see how important that has been to me and how difficult it can be sometimes to come on and say, you know, I'm struggling, you know, but I'm telling you, I'm not ashamed. I'm not embarrassed of my struggles, and I'm not going to hide anything, you know, and that's why I made this channel. I didn't make this channel to build it on a whole lie and putting on an act. I built this channel because I needed support, you know, and so if any of you are out there and you're struggling with, you know, putting forth a different you to people and then not really being that person, if you're putting a mask on, if you're trying to perform, eventually you're not going to be able to perform, and that mask is going to have to come off. So if you're, please, I'm telling you right now, take it from somebody who wore masks her entire life. Take the mask off. Throw it away. Who cares what people think? If you're struggling in your recovery, be real. If you're kicking ass in your recovery, be real. Just keep it real. That's what people want to see. That's what people respect. So if anybody's out there and you're struggling and you think that it is shameful to struggle, let me tell you something. I struggle every day. I second guess myself every day. I look at myself in the mirror and I have to tell myself, Nicole, you're going to get to a place where you're going to be happy with yourself. You're going to get to a place where you love your body, Nicole. We are on a mission. I don't love myself all the way. You know, I want to make changes. But I'm telling you what, I'm not going to get high on drugs and alcohol, and I'm not going to do things that are not honest, open-minded, and willing. I am always going to keep it 100% with you guys. And I think that's really important. And I think when you have a YouTube channel, if you're not keeping it 100, people see that and they know. So anyway, I love you guys. I hope you have a great day. Those are 3 examples of honesty and how it's changed my life. All right, bye.